Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Forbes Travel Guide's President of Ratings, Amanda Frasier. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me.
Very nice to be here, Brittany. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course, Forbes Travel Guide just released the most anticipated hotel openings for 2023. What goes into picking these spots?
There are so many coming up, Brittany. I think the pipeline for new openings has been the biggest we've seen since, the post-pandemic time period. So this is really exciting. The list, we try obviously to make sure that we have a really good global selection, and that's never hard to do because there's things opening all over the place. And the great thing about the list that we put out is that not only are we covering some of the cities, which saw, I think, some of the biggest negative effects of the pandemic, but there's some really great destinations that you might not think about that are receiving new openings. So it's really exciting, and it's a really diverse list this year.
Let's get right into it. What are some of those destinations that you might not be thinking about?
Well, I think the big trend that we're watching and the one thing that we're seeing is the experiential destinations. So you're going to see some properties on there. There is a JW that's opening in the Masai Mara. So if safari is your thing, or being close to that experience is something on your bucket list, then that would be a great option for you. And then you're also going to see some wellness destinations on there in Portugal, and so maybe some destinations, especially for those of us that have been stuck a bit behind the travel schedule with the pandemic, far-flung destinations that were a bit more difficult to get to, like in Melbourne. So they're seeing some new openings as well.
Are you seeing more people as the pandemic is sort of coming to an end here, people going outside of the US and going abroad?
Definitely. And you can tell that not only in the demand from what we see the hotels talking about. I've been talking to so many hotels lately, obviously on the eve of our announcement, and they are full, they are busy, they are oversold. So it's really great. And we are seeing that pick up, and I don't see it softening. We don't see that tailing off at any point soon.
And what about the US? What are some of the destinations that are featured on the list in the United States?
Actually, some of the exciting destinations are what I would call reopenings and some grand dames coming back to life. So the Ritz-Carlton Naples, which has been closed for a couple of years, it's finally reopening. So we're really excited for that to be reopening in 2023. It's a big resort down, obviously, in Florida. And then Hawaii as well, which also saw some particularly hard times receiving tourism during the pandemic. There's a new Rosewood. Rosewood has quite a few openings globally, but the one that we're also watching, and it's on our list, is the one in Kona Village.
Out of the entire list, what would you say is the most unique spot?
The most unique spot, gosh, well, I think there's a couple of really notable hotels, and one that has definitely caught our attention lately is the new property in Dubai, the newest property, which is the Royal at the Atlantis. Not that Dubai necessarily is a unique destination because it's filled with amazing hotels, but that hotel is truly something special. We were fortunate to be there at the opening, and I think when people finally get there, it's going to be amazing.
And what made it so special?
I think they have such a unique setup of obviously everything from the design and the futuristic concept, which is obviously just really very cool, but then also the service. The service is something at Forbes Travel Guide that is especially important to us. And here's a hotel that's newly opened with obviously an amazing leadership team and a really wonderful staff. But really from day one, you can see that property is really pulling out pulling out all the stops and doing a great job all around.
These destinations sound truly incredible everywhere from Dubai, Hawaii, everywhere in between. What's the most affordable place that someone maybe on more of a budget can look to?
I think Las Vegas always continues currently to offer great competitive rates, but not delivering on a budget experience. So you can get to Las Vegas on a budget, but have a truly amazing experience. And I know people's perception of Las Vegas as a travel destination has maybe a more condensed view of why you would travel, but the destination has such broad offerings. And even though Resorts World is the newest property that's opened in recent years during the pandemic, one we're watching that's on our list is the Fontainebleau. So we are really excited for that opening and to see that coming to fruition in 23.
Will that one look like the one in Miami?
I think on the outside it will, because it's a particular brand style, and we're excited to see it. But I have not personally seen any renderings yet, so we're looking forward to seeing what that will look like when that comes to its opening day.
I'm excited to see it as well. So, on the flip side of most affordable, what's the grandest experience, the most flashy? Let's say you have no budget, budget is not an option. Where are you going?
Oh gosh, I think the one and only, who as a brand just really epitomized the ultimate in luxury experience, and they have a new property opening in Greece. Greece is a hot destination. It's actually right behind me right now. And certainly it was the country that inspired me with my travel bug. But the one and only would be one of the properties that I would definitely say is top of the list.
And what is making this list different than lists in years past?
I think the diversity, like I said, I think what we're seeing is investment really coming back. As you know, we had a very strong 2019 right before we went into the pandemic, and we're now seeing that being exceeded. I think hotels are going to be really, the rates aren't softening. The pipeline for openings is growing, and I think we're going to see our list. I think we're at 34 right now for this list, and I think it's just going to continue to get bigger.
That's exciting and optimistic. I love to hear it. But if people don't want to wait until these open up and want to look to a place that they can go to now, the 65th Annual Star Awards just dropped. First, can you explain what a Star Award is?
Yes. So a star award is something that properties earn. So we don't give these awards away. So year after year, and they're re-earned at the beginning of the year, we've literally just pressed the reset button, and everyone that earned an award this year will be re-earning it again for 2024. And a star award is an independent evaluation that we conduct. We use our proprietary standards. We send in our incognito evaluators, and then based on the outcome of that evaluation and an algorithm that we put on top of the process, the properties can earn anything from a recommended 4 or 5 star rating.
And who is the most consistent re-earner on the list?
Well, that will be the Broadmoor. Our list, as you just mentioned, we're into our 65th year. The Broadmoor is 63 years a 5 star property consistently year after year after year. So they are our longest running 5 star hotel.
Let's get an overview of the list. I saw that this is the first year cruises were on the list, but what else can you
Yes.
tell us?
So yes, we this is pretty historic. So the launch of the cruise ship vertical, as we would call it, is a historic moment for us because we've not added a new listing, a new vertical to our list since 2004. So since we added spas. And this has been a very important commitment for us because we saw the investment cruise ships were making a couple of years ago, and it caught our interest, and it was something that we wanted to add to the list for the experience for those that need to make great decisions on where they spend their time. And we certainly all have less time to spend deciding where to stay and where to go, so it needs to be right first time. So we proudly add 5 new cruise ratings to the list this year. There are 5 from Celebrity Cruises, which is really exciting.
I know you said that on the anticipated hotels list that traveling is back. That was a trend you saw. But on this 65th Annual Stars Awards list, what trends are you seeing?
We are seeing, there's a couple of trends, but the one that really stands out, and I think we're just going to see it get bigger and stronger, is the commitment that properties are showing to wellness and well-being. Joali Being is a property that stands out on the list. There are many that are, but our standards look at how properties commit to wellness and delivering an experience that allows guests not only to eat well and to be in a property that has services that speak to well-being, but are they truly and authentically giving an experience that when you leave, you feel better? And certainly that's a property amongst a few others that does it really well.
And why do you think there is this newfound commitment to wellness?
I think that it's really strongly brought on by the pandemic. I think that really had everyone taking a much closer look at health. The convergence of health and travel is stronger than we've ever seen before. And I think people are just much more conscious and a lot more educated. And this is how they are now living their lives day to day. And that is how they would like to travel as well. And for the first time, we're starting to see that hotels' performance against our wellness standards are outpacing their performance against our luxury standards, which is a really interesting turn of events to see.
Is this surprising to you that people value wellness more than luxury now?
No, it isn't, because our job in ratings, as we evolve and refine and continually redefine the luxury standards, is to understand what luxury is. And it's never static, it's always evolving. And well-being and your commitment to your health and to wellness is luxury today. That is what is it. Your health is a luxury. And that is not necessarily a surprise to see after everything that everyone's been through. And that's coming through in our awards list.
And is this luxury coming at a price? Are these affordable places or more expensive?
They're going to be a little bit of a mix, but prices are strong. Prices are strong for hotels, and as I said, they're not softening. So there is an investment there, but that investment from the travelers that go to the properties that are on our list is something that they are willing to invest in. I think there's no price you could put on your health and that experience around it, and therefore really price isn't it's not a hurdle. It's really just about what are they going to get in return for that, and are they going to feel it's money well spent.
And where are these places? Let's start domestically. What places in the United States made the cut?
For well-being, there's a lot of properties, and I think one of the ones to look at is the new Boca Raton, the beach club. They do a fantastic job down there because they have an ongoing but an amazing renovation that has occurred and continues to occur, with a fabulous spa, which also made our list as well. Their commitment to a lot of outdoor space and activities is something I think really speaks to this trend as well.
When it comes to the Star Awards, tell us about some international destinations. What stood out to you?
So this year, I think what was exciting to see is the recovery of Ireland. Ireland, obviously a small destination. We don't have a lot of star-rated properties there, but we really were excited to see that Adair Manor got added to the list this year as a new 5-star hotel. It joined Ashford Castle, which is an existing 5, and Ashford Castle in and of themselves earned a new 5-star for their spa. So I think, as far as travel and expanding your horizons and traveling more internationally, I'm glad to see Ireland back on the list and doing so well.
I love to eat, so obviously I was drawn to the restaurants portion of the Star Awards, and this was written about restaurants this year. This year's Star Award winners demonstrate that experiential dining isn't just a trend du jour, it's a gourmet mainstay. Can you explain what that means?
I can, yes. And there's a restaurant that got added to our list with a new 5-star award that kind of epitomizes that. And that is the Justin restaurant at the restaurant at the Justin Winery. And it's our first restaurant within a winery achieving at the 5-star level. And it's just such an authentic experience. They've really not just delivered a great meal, but they've considered the environment that they're in, and they bring it into everything that you do, from not only obviously the food and the wine, but to the gifts and the items that you might receive, and the items that they grow in their own garden, and how that helps inspire the overall guest experience.
Aside from that, are there any other trends you're seeing in the restaurant space?
For the trends, what we're seeing, and then this is something that we're focusing on as we evolve our restaurant coverage more globally into 23 and 24. Some of the things that are really important for us right now is that dining is having a big evolution in the luxury space. We have a lot of restaurants that are on the list that are not necessarily traditional fine dining. We made a lot of adjustments to some of our more long-standing standards that we looked for. So, for example, the requirement to have an amuse-bouche is great in certain dining, verticals and certain genres, but not every restaurant needs to have an amuse on their repertoire to ensure that the guest has a 5-star experience. So we have done a lot of work on our list to really keep up with the trends that we see happening in the restaurant space.
Why do you think that the traditional dining experience doesn't matter as much anymore?
I think it matters. I think what the difference is how people want to experience fine dining. They don't necessarily want to go through a system and a set of rules and requirements. They want to feel relaxed. When you're relaxed, you feel happier. When you're happy, you're healthier. So I think that all just ties back to being well, eating well, staying well. And we're starting to see that come through much more in the dining options, certainly at the recommended 4 and 5-star level.
And this is the 65th annual Star Awards. How are these Star Awards different from ones in the past?
This is a big year. Obviously, during the pandemic, we were still evaluating and adding star rated properties to our list, but at a much more subdued level because we weren't able to get everywhere. Once we started evaluating again at the beginning of 2022, it became quite clear quite early on that properties, whilst they had been closed or certainly taking less guests, had quietly been working really, really hard on their service because I think they knew that when travel came back, because it wasn't a matter of if it came back, it was when it came back, they wanted to be ready. And some of the best hotels continue to invest in making sure that that guest experience was going to be top notch and above people's expectations when travel opened up again. And really, that's what we're seeing the result of. The list has more than 70 new 5 stars, which is almost twice the average number that we've been adding in the past.
And Amanda, you're saying that traveling is back and there's really no signs of it slowing down?
Exactly. We are not seeing a softening at all. I think there was a thought that perhaps it would, but certainly not now.
Great. Amanda Frasier, thank you so much.
Thank you.